All right, we're ready to go ahead and explain how to do this activity called disappearing peeps. Before we get started, there's some words that are probably new and unfamiliar to you because we haven't really talked about this yet for science. I'm going to go through the definitions with you, and then I'm also going to post it underneath this video on our class story, and you can go ahead and fill in the definitions on your own and then start the experiment. First one is observation. An observation is simply an act of viewing something to see what happens. So before you even do the experiment, the observation is to do the beginning part of it, see what happens. So in this experiment, your observation is to first eat a peep. So you get to actually start off by eating one of those peeps and see what happens to the peep as you put it in your mouth. And think about what happens and record on your sheet what happens when you eat that first peep. The next part is to ask a question. The question is which liquids will cause the peep to dissolve the fastest? So what you're going to do is you're going to pick out from the list, or you can think and be creative on your own and think of a liquid that you want to put the other 3 peeps into. One liquid for each of the 3 peeps, a different liquid. One of them could be something like bubble solution. One could be soap, like a liquid soap. One could be just water. One of them could be, what other things did we say? Well, you have the list at home. You can be creative. Now, if you use something that is like bleach or a cleaning agent, you need to be with an adult and they need to monitor that with you. You cannot do that on your own. All right, so after a question, then what comes is the independent variable. Now, what that is all it is it's the thing that you change through the experiment. So yes, it's the different solution. You're going to put a peep in a different solution 3 times. That is called the independent variable because it changes 3 times. You're not putting it in just 1, you're putting it in 3. So it's an independent variable. The next is, and you get to choose those on your own, like I said. I offered 6 choices, but you can go ahead and choose whatever you want to put those peeps into. The next is the dependent variable. That is the thing that is being tested in an experiment. So whatever 3 things you choose, you put it in one thing. That's the dependent variable. It's the thing that's being tested. So if you put it in a dish soap, that is the first variable. It's a dependent variable. If you put it in water, it's another dependent variable. It's the thing that's being tested. So you're going to observe what's being tested. Next is hypothesis. That's a tricky word. Say that. Hypothesis. That's what you think is going to happen. So it's an idea or an explanation that you think is going to happen. So it's like a good idea or a guess based on what you already know. So you already know something based on what you've seen before. Have you ever put something in water before and seen what happens? Have you ever put something in dish soap and see what happens? So you're going to go ahead and test your hypothesis. And a hypothesis is simply just an idea of what you think is going to happen. So it's like a prediction. Next is procedure. That is the order and the steps that you're going to do it. Number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4. What are you going to do? First, you're going to fill each cup with the same amount of liquid, but different liquids, right? Next, number 2, place a peep in each cup. So all it really is a certain order of what you're going to do. Next, result. Result is after the experiment. It's the observation that is, it's a fact. It's something that actually happened and you observe it and you see it's happening. So that is what the result is. The result is simply after you bake cookies, what do they look like? It's a fact. It's what you see or what you smell or what you hear or what you measure. It's the fact. It's the result. And finally, the conclusion. Conclusion, like to a story, is the end. It's what happens at the very end. So a solution is a short explanation that explains the result of an experiment. All right, so now is the fun part. After you write down what each part of this experiment is, then you get to go ahead and start. So with your grown-up, you can do this experiment. So you have to wait for your grown-up, and then what you get to do is start with your observation. Eat one peep, see what happens. As you put it in your mouth, record on this paper what happens. Next is the question. Which liquids will cause this peep to dissolve the fastest? So you're going to put it in 3 solutions, and those are independent variables. You're going to choose 3 different ones and write them on the lines. Next, you're going to focus on observing which one you put it in first and record the results. So focus on observing the one that's being tested. And then the hypothesis. What do you think is going to happen? What is your prediction based on what you already know? Now, could your hypothesis turn out wrong? Yes. Many of the greatest scientists make a hypothesis, they test it, and then it doesn't turn out the way they think it's going to turn out. So then they do an experiment again, and they might do it again. So that's how you find out results. That's how you find out what science is all about. Okay, have fun with this. Can't wait to see your picture. So when you're done with this, I want you to take a picture of it and your conclusion. And remember, this is not going to take just 1 hour. This isn't going to take 20 minutes. This is going to take a whole day. So when you start it, let's say you started at noon today. So 12 o'clock p.m. Tomorrow at 12 o'clock p.m. at lunchtime, you're going to see what happens at the very end. So wait a whole 24 hours and see what happens at the very end. That's how you get the best results. Now, could you shorten it up a bit? You could. You can shorten it up. You could do it in the morning and then see what results are in the afternoon. But scientists like to see what happens over a long period of time. But maybe your peep might dissolve quick in something, and then you have results quicker than others. All right, have fun with this. Let me know with a picture. Have fun. Bye.